As we disclosed earlier this year, Greg, the changes in U.S. Tax system have added about $130 million or so to our bottom line on an annual basis. And you saw that coming through on a pro rata basis in the first quarter. So you're absolutely right. The competitive landscape has shifted in terms of the competitiveness of the Canadian tax regime. And I do think it's something that the federal government is going to have to come back to and rethink and reconsider how the competitiveness of Canada's tax regime fits against the U.S. regime now.
It's interesting we're hearing that from your industry, because we're hearing it from the energy patch. We're hearing it from a lot of people that although the federal finance minister, Bill Morneau, just last week on BNN Bloomberg said, I think people are overplaying this idea that we're not as competitive as we used to be. Business leaders, I guess they're agreeing to disagree, and you're saying this actually requires some action from Ottawa.
I think it requires thoughtful action, and you know, the Business Council of Canada is engaged in that conversation with the finance minister. I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction, but it needs to have a thoughtful reaction, because in the end, what you do see around the world is tax regimes matter, and capital is very fluid, and there's too much capital leaving Canada today to other markets. So it's something that we need a thoughtful response on.
That said, what's the smart play for Sun Life then if it wants to grow a business? Is it here at home, is it in the United States, or is it somewhere else on the planet? Well,
the good news is we have opportunities in all four of our pillars. So we're growing here in Canada. The U.S. has shown great growth for us, both in the group benefits business and the asset management business, and you saw that coming through in terms of much higher earnings in the first quarter. And then Asia, it just continues to be a huge growth opportunity for Sun Life.
When we have concerns about the Canadian economy, it's just interesting to me for a life co business. If we see a recession, I mean, one will come at some point, and people just try to guess when it's going to happen. What does that do for your business in terms of the products you sell? I mean, there's certain things we just need, life insurance being one of them.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. The demand for life insurance and other kinds of solutions doesn't actually slow down that much in a recession. A lot of the things that we provide our clients with actually help in periods of recession. So income, if somebody goes on disability, and we tend to see higher incidence of disability during recessions, we're there with disability income to help people out with that. People can borrow money from their insurance policies. They can take a loan out and repay it later when the economy recovers. So a lot of the things we do actually help people in recessions, and we don't see a huge reduction in sales during recessions.
Given that is part of your business, do you actually have projection tables? I know in the LifeCo business, there's projection tables for everything in terms of the strength of the Canadian economy going forward, and any concerns you might have about that?
No, we have views on the economy just like everybody else. I don't think our crystal ball is any better or worse than anybody else's. I mean, Canada, we have a great economy. It needs to be more diversified. It is too concentrated in commodities and financial services. It needs to be more diversified. There's lots of work underway. The recent policy around clusters is a good step forward in that regard. I think one of our challenges is growth, demographic growth. The headcount in the country is not growing enough, and we need more people to come and stay and have more children in Canada.
I wanted to talk to you about another pillar of strength I saw, and this was interesting. Selling more managed funds. We've heard a lot in the recent years about how the fact that mutual funds and other managed funds were going out of favor. People were doing it themselves through ETFs. So I find that curious that there was strength for you in this quarter in that area.
Yeah, we had one of the strongest gross sales quarters we've ever had in recent memory, particularly in MFS, but also Sun Life Global Investments, our Canadian mutual fund business. And it reflects the fact that there's a large pool of assets that are still alpha seeking and alpha believing, and they're looking for managers like MFS that have a great track record, long-term track record of adding value net of fees. And so that's what we saw coming through in the first quarter.
Now, I know from our discussions over the years that you're a guitar guy. I'm a guitar guy. Sometimes people fall into two camps. You told me in the past you're both a Gibson and a Fender guy. Gibson in bankruptcy. What would you as a business leader do to turn that company around?
Well, to be honest, I don't know. I know a lot about their guitars. I don't know much about their business. From a distance, it looks like if they focused on building amazingly good guitars, they'd have a great business.